Microphone check. Microphone check. We are up and running. For episode number 21 on the Best Coast Sports Connection. Andy Bishop alongside my amigos Thomas Conroy, Brian Vilvin. We meet again, my friends.
Howdy, AB. How you doing?
I'm good.
How's it going, Andy?
Doing good. It's been a little while since we last met, and a few things have happened in the sports world.
Just a little bit, but episode 21. Before we get too far, we always like to talk about some of the people in our fine town who have donned the number 21. There's some football player, I forget who he is now, but LT,
2006 MVP
and then
the NFL.
A 1996 MVP for the Padres, Ken Caminetti. We always talk about 98 as like the glory year, but 96 was a really good year too. Going up to Dodger Stadium and sweeping the Dodgers to win the division in 96. Big Chris Gwynn, double,
2 RBI hit. Yep.
Man, that was so awesome. So 96 was like a really, really great year in Padres history as well. So the oft overlooked 96 season, but episode 21, Ken Caminetti episode, and I guess Ladanian.
Yeah, I was working that Sunday. My brother went up to Los Angeles. So
you should have quit. What job is worth that?
And but I watched Friday's game from like first pitch to last, and I knew it when they won that game. I'm like, there is no doubt in my mind that they are going to win this.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still one of my favorite moments. Sorry.
I was at the Chargers game on that Sunday. The Chargers had a home game against the Chiefs. I was there with my dad and a couple other family members, and I remember they were continually giving updates of the Padres game. And finally, when they broke and got that hit to go up 2-0, that was amazing.
Pretty awesome.
Two players that kind of really captured the San Diego sports scene in different ways. I think you love Caminetti for his fireness.
Yeah.
And then LT for just his all-around ability. Like, he made some plays, like catching the football, that I was just like, wow, I didn't even know a human can do that on a football field. Just his moves, and he was just two
like
great
the
players.
reach back catch while he's still moving forward and like doing it like it's no thing, and then his amazing stiff arm to get an extra handful of yards, seemingly every single time he touched the ball and got the corner. I would never want to tackle that guy. And it's weird because I kind of feel like I don't want it to feel tainted because of like the LA Chargers move and stuff, and just think back to all the great times with Ladanian, because he was amazing and like such a great person in the community, a great representative of our city, and I just love him so much. So I'll just try to ignore the last couple of years and the LA movement and all that, but he really did do some magical things on the field.
Yeah, special time. And then, in his prime, he was throwing touchdowns.
Yeah, man.
On those sweeps, to Gates.
There was
and
a time
guys.
in his career where he was like 6 for 7 for 6 touchdowns, 7 pass attempts, and always to Antonio Gates. Like, yeah, what a stud.
Yeah, a shame that he never made it to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
In particular with the Chargers. 06, 07 were some good chances, and then 09 when the Chargers went 13-3 and lost to the Jets after a couple Nate Kading missed field goals.
What an incredible trade that was! If you remember, during that draft day, they traded number 1 pick, which was Michael Vick to Atlanta, and they got Tomlinson, and then they got Drew Brees with the first pick in the second round.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, there was the other really amazing draft day trade was the Phillip Rivers Eli Manning trade that netted in no particular order. I think with the picks we got over the next couple of years, it was Sean Merriman, Luis Castillo, Nate Kading, like all these guys that we got with picks that we acquired from the Giants. Those are the kind of things that really can catapult a franchise into big success when you hit on draft picks like that.
Yeah.
Haven't always been so fortunate around these parts for hitting on draft picks, but yeah, man, some glory times
right?
we can reach back on.
Memories.
I love it.
And Caminetti with a huge Houston trade, wasn't it? Like 15 players.
Caminetti and Finley came back in that one.
Yeah.
They were like the big pieces that we got.
Derek Bell went to Houston.
Yeah, he did. I always liked Derek Bell.
Yeah.
He was a good player.
Operation Shutdown.
But I think we won that trade, I would say. My favorite Caminetti play. Well, okay, so I got 2. One is obviously when he was he threw the guy out against the Marlins from his
rear.
And we'd never seen that across the diamond. Yeah, he's about 15 feet behind third base and never got up, just throwing it from his backside. And then the legend of the Snickers bars down in Mexico.
Monterrey, Mexico.
Yeah, in Monterrey, eats the Snickers and goes out and homers from both sides of the plate. And then, like, for the rest of my life, I thought when I was sick and I had, like, to perform in athletics, I would eat a Snickers. And I thought it would make me, like, you know, a superpower because of Caminetti. And it never worked, but I always liked the idea of it.
You like the thought,
yeah,
the
totally.
dream.
I tried, so.
Well, we'll get things rolling here. You mentioned the Houston Astros in regards to a trade years ago.
Is that the same team?
Yeah.
Different league?
And
I don't know.
They have certainly been in the news. You know, MLB dominating the storylines at this time of year. You aren't used to that.
Very rare.
The cheating controversy, a lot of fallout this past week with suspensions, firings with multiple clubs. This has kind of been in the news for a little bit, but what's your guys' reaction to the MLB's rulings and then the firings of Hinch and GM in Houston? Anybody want to take a stab at that?
Thomas, you want to get us
I'll go first.
going here? I know you got some thoughts.
I think Rob Manfred did a terrific job because he had to nip this in the bud, because I honestly believe this scandal is worse than the steroid scandal.
Yep.
Because to me, with steroids, you still have to have the eye-hand contact to hit the baseball. You can be jacked up. You can be whoever you want to think you are. You still have to have the ability to hit the baseball. But this makes baseball almost turn into professional wrestling. It's like, if you know exactly where the ball is, I mean, even my lame baseball skills, I can kind of get base hits out of that. I mean, that solves my problem. I mean, that's why I hated baseball, was they get me with that curveball when I'm looking for a fastball all the time, and it was, it's just something I could never, you can never figure out. And these guys, I mean, the problem with the Houston Astros for me is none of these players who talk all the time, Alex Bregman, Altuve, Correa, are hidden under a rock and haven't said a word. Verlander opens his mouth constantly about the baseballs.
Everything.
That's why I'm giving up all these home runs, never giving the hitters credit or anything. And they're suddenly silent. They're dead silent. You got caught. Take your punishment. And I know they're coming to Anaheim the first weekend in April, and I am going to one of those games. And I'm going in that bullpen, and I'm going full Yankee Stadium on that starting pitcher that day, because they deserve it, and I think everybody should do it. And if I was a major league player, I would throw at Altuve the first pitch, and he should be hit in every ballpark because of what they did. And I know I'm extreme, and I know it's crazy, but I just think the integrity of the game is so bad. I mean, if you're going to throw Pete Rose out of the game for gambling, and rightfully so, these guys need to pay a heavy price, and I have no I have no remorse for Jeffrey Lunau, AJ Hinch, Alex Cora, and Carlos Beltran. Go. Get out of here. I don't need to see you anymore, really. Take care.
Andy, we just met New York Thomas.
Yes, New York Thomas. One of the St. Thomases you'll experience here on the connection.
I'll leave the set now.
Brian, how'd you feel? AJ Hinch, was in the front office with the Padres here. A guy that I've always enjoyed
really liked
watching
him.
and had
Totally.
respect for, and then he goes to Houston as their manager, wins a championship, but then you have this.
I always really liked Houston. And I have, kind of low-key rooted for them to be successful the last few years, because I felt like it was this from the ashes story of this team that, a bunch of players that, a lot of them were outcasts, and then they go to Houston and they just all mesh well. But one of the big things that they did incredibly well was their plate discipline. And I was always like, oh my gosh, I wish the Padres had that. Like, that's something that we're missing. And to think that they could have been, cheating to have that advantage and to have that plate discipline. Like, a slider's come in and it starts low and away, it's going to be outside of the zone. That's just it's such an insane advantage, and I really do think it's a bigger advantage than taking steroids. It's almost unfathomable, like the reach and the scope of this thing, and it makes me really sad. And I hope if it is true, like if these allegations are true and someone steps up and proves it or admits it, I mean, lifetime bans. I know it sounds extreme, but whatever the equivalent of the death penalty is in Major League Baseball, you got to give it to the Astros, because that is just insane. And to have toyed with the last few seasons doing that, to win a world championship, to knock the Yankees out a couple of years, and to be right there. And how about the teams in their division, like having to face that 18 times? So you get 9 games where the other team is cheating against you throughout the course of the year, and they win the division every single year. Like, if I was an A's fan, I'd be really upset as well. Obviously, the Dodgers fans are upset. Yankee fans are upset, rightly so. But I didn't think there could be something that was more of a black eye on the integrity of baseball than steroids. And boy, it's hard to imagine something this like vast of a setup, conspiracy, whatever the hell you want to call it. Like, man, it's crazy. It's horrible.
So the punishments get handed down to the Astros manager and GM. Alex Cora, who is part of the coaching staff with the Astros, then became the manager of the Red Sox, of course. He mutually parts ways with the Red Sox. What do you think? What do you think the punishment might be for Cora from MLB, Thomas?
Sounds like it's going to be 2 years, because he took his act to Boston, and you don't have one World's Championship in question here. You have the 2018,
2, back to back.
And if you remember that year, the Red Sox batted as a team 265, one of the highest team batting average in baseball, and I think in about 10 to maybe even 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I just remember from that Yankee series against them. I mean, look, they were the better team. I have no problem with that, but the way they just destroyed the Yankees. They made the Yankees look like a little league team.
Yeah. And I mean, they ran through everybody like that.
Yeah, exactly.
In their run to the championship. No one even gave them a battle.
The American League Cheaters series was the A's and the Astros that year. But look, he deserves whatever he gets, and Beltran had to leave the Mets. I mean, I'm just sorry. There was just no way he go through that New York press as a Mets manager every day being asked about it.
Well, I mean, do you guys think anything, Andy, is going to happen, anything more to the Astros? Because now, like, the stuff that's coming out about the buzzers, it goes way deeper than banging on some trash cans. Like, there may be more sanctions. I don't know. MLB could be like, well, sorry, we said this was our punishment, but in light of new evidence, like, where do you think
it's
that
hard
goes?
to say. Like, you'd think there's got to be more punishment somehow, the death sentence, as you said. But this is kind of unprecedented, where it's like an entire team is found guilty. It's like, where do you go about that? So I honestly don't know what you do further, but you would think further actions need to be taken.
It's so crazy. It's the thing that I never thought I would ever see. I thought the steroids was going to be the last black eye for baseball, but this is worse. And it questions everything right now. And man, I'm glad that the owners got together of these teams and made the smart decision and get rid of these guys. I mean, you just can't condone it. You can't say, the Red Sox, I think, were, well, actually, Jim Crane was the first one.
Strategic.
Because
parting of ways, whatever.
Yeah, 30 minutes after the penalties were levied, and he fired both his general manager and then his manager. He was the first one to step up, and then the next day, I think the Red Sox said, you know what, if this guy's going to get 2-year suspension, we can't have him coming back and be our manager.
Well, I mean, so far there's been no sanctions or suspensions or penalties on the players. You guys think that changes? Because I think that's got to change. It can't just be the owner gets fined $5 million and you lose your manager. There's got to be something to the players who were actively gaining an advantage and cheating the game. There has to be.
I think so too, but I mean that's an even bigger investigation. So I don't know if you're
But you're
able to gather that. No, I
you
think
have
so.
to. Yeah.
I don't
They have
think
to
so.
do something. They have to invest. They have to investigate further. It's
Right.
like steroids. You can't just be like, oh well, we're gonna fire a bunch of athletic trainers around the league because they were giving them a shot in the rear end. You have to eventually go after the players.
But look how long it took them to actually get somebody. I mean, they waited until halfway through the middle of the season before they suspended Rodriguez for a full year. Alex Rodriguez,
Yep.
and then all these weird we got the list and we gave you 10 and then it was 30. I think it was like 120 that were on that original list. I just think that players, the Major League Players Association is tough, man.
It's
and
pretty nasty.
They would just do grievances until probably 2025, and then we'll be like, hey, we just suspended Otuve.
I mean, will there be like a civil war among the players' union? Because right now there's a ton of pitchers that are coming out and speaking against this, even position players. It's not just the pitchers, but all the pitchers are saying how this is worse than steroids. They'd rather face a person on steroids than someone who knows what pitch is coming. So, I mean, the players' union has to step up for everybody to a degree, but at some point they've got to look at the rest of the players in the union, and if a handful of them are cheating, you got to kind of hang them out to dry if it's affecting everybody else. Sure. And people who may have lost their jobs or got called down because of this, I don't know. It's we've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's messy.
Yeah.
Paints a bad picture for Major League Baseball.
But they're in the news.
Yeah, right?
Right
Any news
before
is
the
good.
NFL championship games this weekend, and we haven't even spoken a word about them.
Yeah.
The Aztecs are 18-0. We haven't said a word about it. We're talking about the Houston Astros right now, like
in the middle of January.
That is news, and baseball is rarely in that situation. So.
Yeah, we'll get on to some of these topics. I want to ask you first, though, Thomas. Of course, the Padres here locally had their Fan Fest.
Yes.
A week ago. You had a chance to get out there. How was it?
Yeah, it's my family's unofficial start to the 2020 season.
Yep.
Last year it was kind of a disappointment because it rained, so you couldn't get on the field. But this year, my brother and my mother, we all went like we normally do, and it's just a good time. We're at the ballpark, and you can't have a better time at that ballpark. And this year it was really great because nobody really knew that Manny Machado was there this weekend. At least I didn't. So if somebody else did, that's fine. But it was really a shock, and it was like, wow, there he is in living color. And man, he got the loudest ovation of that day. I was like, he said all the right things, and then I had the weird encounter of taking a photo, because I was taking a photo right off the stage. I got a good little area where it was just me and a couple of families off to the side. It wasn't really a lot of people in front of us. I was off to the right of the stage, and I didn't think it was a good picture. So, and then when I looked at it, I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty good. And then it was right at the end of his little interview session, and as we're walking, I'm all of a sudden in this huge crowd, and I was like, oh, what is this? And I look up, this is Manny Machado walking right up stage from me to Brian. I was like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
So, and then it's great because as you're walking out, people think that you're part of his entourage.
You're like, oh, if he's walking off stage, I'm following him.
I'm with him.
I'm with
move it. Here he comes. Here he comes.
Yeah, a little headpiece in.
Yeah.
Security?
But but other than that, it's just a great start to the 2020. You talk to fans and all the optimism in the world, and everybody, saying, let's go out to Peoria, making these crazy plans, and
a lot of brown and
yeah,
and gold out there, yeah.
Oh my
Beautiful.
God, yeah. I didn't see a blue shirt anywhere, but
is blue like they're gonna be outcasts,
right?
If you're wearing blue. Unless it has some orange in it, like the blue, you got the blue with the white and orange, that's acceptable. But if you're going
one fan member
straight
had
blue
this,
and white,
he said, love the brown, but respect the blue. Cause
okay, I like that.
yeah. Don't
All
throw
right.
it away, but just
Yeah, Yeah.
It's that cousin that comes to Thanksgiving
Totally.
every once or 2 months.
Yep. That's awesome. Glad you had a good time, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's keep going local here. You
Yep.
mentioned it, Brian. San Diego State Aztecs.
Holy cow.
Still undefeated, the only undefeated men's basketball team in the country as of this last week. So a lot of fun. I haven't really been able to watch much of the games, but I'm sure you guys have.
Well, that's part of the battle is trying to figure out where to watch the games. The rest of the season will be on either ESPN or CBS Sports Network. So from here on out, it'll be pretty easy to find the games. But it was a challenge for a while. A handful of those games are just on Facebook. First time the Aztecs have ever been the lone remaining undefeated team. And we talked about it the last time we were out that this team is right up there with one of the best Aztec teams ever, if not the best, with the whole mix they have of really good guard play, good bigs down low. Saw today that Nathan Mensah is likely going to be out for the season. He's had a respiratory thing, and today it came out what it was. It's a blood clot in his lungs, and he won't be able to have any like physical contact or activity for over 3 months. So the earliest he could come back would be like the second week of the NCAA tournament if they were in it. But I would think that they're going to be cautious with him and not try to rush him back this season. So losing a big stud 6'10" guy down low who's been really good so far is going to be a tough blow. But they've played without him for the last handful of weeks and performed really well. So it's just been a fun, exciting team. All these games where they've gone and had potential trap games or whatever, they're winning them by double digits, and the games aren't even really that close. Like, man, they have not had a bad outing since that San Jose State game where they pulled it off. Yeah. And if they hit, if Malachi Flynn misses that shot right now, do we think they'd be 17-1 still? Maybe not. Maybe they would have dropped off a little bit, but he did hit the shot. That's all that matters. And 3 teams ranked ahead of the Aztecs in the poll have already lost this week. So there's a chance the Aztecs will be a top 5 team. They should be a top 5 team if they win against Nevada tomorrow. And the highest ranking the school's ever had is number 4. So I could see this team getting up, top 3, breaking that. It's a potential national champion. Like it's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I love about college basketball is that it's an open tournament. Everyone has an opportunity. If the Aztecs football team was undefeated, they would never have a chance to play for a title. The SEC gets at least 1, sometimes 2 bids into the tournament, and then there's 4 other conferences fighting for 2 to 3 open spots. Everybody else is, just playing for fun. So, cool thing about college basketball is we will legitimately have a chance to play for a national title, and we got the kind of team that could make a run, and it's just been really exciting. It's been the most fun I've had watching Aztec basketball in a really long time.
Yeah. It's fun to see. It's a team that didn't make the tournament last year.
Yeah.
The NCAA tournament. So, I don't think anybody, your average Aztec or San Diego fan expected, a team to be a potential Final Four type team.
Yeah.
So, a lot of fun to watch these guys. Thomas, any insight on our Aztecs?
Yeah, I'm just echoing what you guys said. It's been an unexpected year. This was not expected, believe me, on that campus, and it's just great. And I agree with you, Brian. The backcourt play has been phenomenal, and what I like about the way this season's going is now you're hearing, guys on ESPN and CBS Sports Network like John Rothstein. He was the first one that kind of mentioned him being a Final Four contender. And then I saw Fran Fraschilla say it during one of their in-between games college basketball shows. So they're finally getting that recognition. And man, it's going to make it, unexpectedly, March and early April is going to be fun here in San Diego. And you have opening day. It's going to be in late March, and then we might be talking about a Final Four appearance on that weekend too. So unbelievable,
insane.
Good times lay ahead. This place will be packed. McGregor's, Mission Valley.
Absolutely, a de facto San Diego State local hang. So,
Brian, you mentioned college football briefly. Did you guys check out the national championship game? LSU taking down Clemson.
Yeah, I did, and. Man, LSU was just so good. All year long, they kept beating everybody and looking really good doing it. The game played out kind of like I imagined it would, but, games rarely do play out the way you think they will. I thought at the beginning that Clemson gave them their good shot and were in position to, pull off the upset. Hard to say it's an upset when they hadn't lost in 29 straight games, but the upset, honestly, because that LSU team was beefy. But, really cool game, and it's fun to watch. I don't know. It just kind of played out exactly as I expected, but it's still fun to watch with no rooting interest, except let's watch a good game.
Yeah, I was slightly annoyed at the length of play for the game. I think it lasted over 4 hours, I want to say. I was flying back here to San Diego from Sacramento that night, and I got to the airport, I think about 2.5 hours after the game started, so I thought it was going to be perfect timing. I got 45 minutes to chill at the airport. I'm going to catch the fourth quarter. Yep. I got there, and it was still halftime. I only caught like half of the third quarter. I was a little ticked with that, but that's how it goes, I guess.
Yeah, man. Those big games. And like the Super Bowl is going to be same 4.5 hours. There's just so much pomp and circumstance around the game. And when they say it starts at 5, it actually starts like 5:22 or something. But that looked like a hell of a party in New Orleans.
Always is.
Baby. That would have been a lot of fun to go to.
I think Odell Beckham Jr. his money's worth. My God, have you seen some of the videos of him?
Yeah, he
was out of control. I mean, the NFL, like, if they have drug tests for guys kicking 60-yard field goals, shouldn't they be knocking on his door on Tuesday morning? Like, what the heck was he on, man?
He was on a good one, is what he was on. Whatever it was, he was fired up.
I mean, he at least committed three violations as a donor. My God.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be getting in the way of the fun he was having. And then Joe Burrow, what's the prize he gets is a one-way ticket to Cincinnati.
There you go. That'll be interesting. I'm sure he'll go there. They need something.
Yeah, totally. But or do they, like we talked about the Chargers, 2 of the best drafts they've ever had were when they traded down from the number 1 pick. So does Cincinnati see that they need more than just the quarterback position? They have a serviceable guy in Andy Dalton right now. Maybe trade down, get a couple of studs this year, get a quarterback in the 2nd round or something, I don't know. There's a chance, but, I mean, they're going to take Joe Burrow. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm tripping. Sorry, guys. I take it all back.
We're heading towards the latter stages of episode 21, and now we're finally talking about the NFL playoffs.
Oh, that
thing.
That's sport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, down to the final 4.
Yep.
AFC, NFC championship games coming up this weekend.
Exactly the 4 teams I predicted. Yeah.
The 9 and 7
I knew the Titans were going to be in for sure.
Knock off the
go
Patriots
win
and Ravens.
At New England and at Baltimore. Yeah, right.
Whew. So, we have the Titans, the 6th seed, going to the 2nd seeded Chiefs, and then the top 2 seeds in the NFC, Packers and Niners. I'm excited for that matchup. Certainly 2 teams that I thought might make it there.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting New Orleans to lose in the first round of the Vikings.
Yeah.
Really wanted to see them get further, but
what
do you guys make of it right now? Brian, you kind of hinted at a potential Chiefs-Niners Super Bowl.
Well, I said that, like mid-December, I was saying that with my crystal ball, I would love to see that just because the Niners look like the real deal. They're a fun team to watch. They got some star appeal. I really like Kittle's game and, Garoppolo, like GQ Garoppolo. And then I have loved the Chiefs ever since the Chargers left. They've just been such a fun team to watch, and Patrick Mahomes is doing some amazing things. I just had a feeling if they could somehow get that number 2 seed, that they could make it this far and go to the Super Bowl. I thought they needed that little week off, and that was what I said. At the time, it looked like New England was still going to get it because all they had to do was beat Miami at home. And the moment that happened, I was like, wow, this could really happen for the Chiefs. I didn't see Tennessee being the team they were going to have to play against, but I would love to see Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Can you imagine 2 weeks of build-up of that guy and Travis Kelce and Damian Williams, Mira Mesa High School alums, a little San Diego connection there.
Yeah.
I would love to see the Chiefs make it. That's what I'm hoping for, and let's see. I did call the 49ers Chiefs, so I'm going to stick with that. But I'd be cool with the Packers too. I just hope Tennessee's run ends right now because I don't care about them at all. The slightest. It's a cool story, but nah.
Yeah, no, I really want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I want Mahomes to just start racking up those Super Bowl championships. Yeah. So in like a decade, we can call him the GOAT instead of Tom Brady. No, I'm kidding. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I'd like to see a Chiefs Niners matchup, or even the Packers. We were talking about how that, of course, was the original Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Super Bowl one. So it'd be cool to see that matchup again.
Totally.
See if I wouldn't mind seeing Rodgers get another shot for a second Super Bowl. He's had a great career. We'd love to see him get a second. So a lot of intrigue. What piques your interest, Thomas?
It's scary how potent Kansas City's offense is. I mean, when they were down 24-0, I was like, wow, they're going to lose this game too? And then all of a sudden...
Well, the AFC South is going to have both AFC championship teams.
And then came, Tecmo Bowl Chiefs. Yeah. I mean, they scored so fast and so quick. I was like, made my head spin. And
41 unanswered.
Yeah. No, wasn't it like 51-7?
It was, but they scored 41. Yeah. They missed one extra point in that stretch, but 6 straight touchdowns without giving up a point.
Unbelievable.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should handle Tennessee. But
Tennessee has already beaten them this year.
I know.
So it's not going to be a runaway, but it also wasn't the AFC championship.
But I think the late game's going to be the really good game because I think Rodgers and company, they want to kind of settle it that they're a good team too. I think during that week prior to that Seahawks game, I think just listening to Rodgers, I think he was a little bit ticked off that people called the Packers the weak link of the top 2 seeds from both leagues, and I think this would just kind of be fitting for him to kind of pull this one off, and so I think it's going to be a good game. I'm impressed with 49ers every time I watch them. Yeah. That defense is really, they really go after the football, and the quarterback, their pass rush is amazing. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm assuming the 49ers. I'll pick the 49ers to win it, but I would not be surprised if the Packers did something. But I think it's going to be a tight game. 3 points to a touchdown.
Yeah, good stuff.
The one thing about the Packers, remember we talked about it a couple weeks ago, how they were kind of like the load management team, and Aaron Rodgers had said like, we're really good. We just don't have to pull out all the stops right now. Like we're getting the job done. I have it still in my arm, but why do I need to throw 60 yards down the field when we don't need it? So it'll be interesting to see if the load management team makes it. Also, those 2 uniforms, the Chiefs and Packers, are such like iconic brands and iconic uniforms. That would be really cool to see. So
they're actually replaying right here at McGregor's, I think a previous playoff matchup between the Packers and 49ers. And it's when the Niners were rocking the white pants, which I was never really a fan of. But I think it's the one where T.O. catches the touchdown, like to win the win the playoff game.
I was gonna say that's like
99
it says
or something
97,
like that.
97 NFC Championship.
Yeah, this J.J. Stokes. That's
J.J.
cool.
Stokes.
UCLA grad J.J. Stokes.
Love it. One final topic as it relates to the NFL. Posted a little article on our website, bcsportsconnect.com. Thomas, little
getting a lot of action
thought
there.
that Phillip Rivers, our beloved Phillip Rivers, may leave the Chargers as a free agent and possibly go to the now Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, it's something I threw out at the end of our last podcast, and Brian's cousin Trevor loved it, and that kind of just developed into a post. And I've gotten a lot of reaction to it. A lot of people feel like that's a perfect destination. Yeah. And I thought it would be a little bit hard for Charger fans, but so far the reaction has been good, and it seems like they want it. So hopefully it can get done for his sake, and But I hope he chooses. All kidding aside, I hope he chooses what's best for him and his family, and anything. It's funny. Last night I was kind of flipping through. For my other job, I had to go through the 100 best moments in the NBA and knock it down. So now I've been just typing in on YouTube all these, trying to get classic moments. And last night I watched a little bit of Rivers' first season as a starter. And it was an NBC Sunday night game against the Steelers, and
also 06, right?
Yeah,
yep.
And it was kind of cool watching. You hear John Madden talking about, well, we really don't know what this guy's gonna turn into. He's been sitting on the bench for 2 years, and it's kind of cool. Like, well, I do know what he was, and the guy's a pretty damn good quarterback.
Didn't leave the field for 14 more years.
Yeah. But it was just
pretty wild.
So funny, and Schottenheimer was Marty Schottenheimer was the coach, and LT was and then Antonio Gates was kind of coming into his prime too at that point, and they were still talking about how he was a basketball player turned into a football player, and
they still probably say that even on his retirement, like he played, he played basketball at Kent State,
Elite Eight with Kent State.
But it was kind of cool watching that because especially now that he probably will not be back with that team, as it sounds like for all intent and purposes they're going to go after a quarterback.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, like you mentioned, Brian, a lot of talk that they might move up in the draft if once they kind of pinpoint which quarterback fits into their plans.
Yeah. It would be cool. I'd go out to Las Vegas as much as I could. Mm-hmm. I've never been to one of the new stadiums, like literally any of them. Never been to Jerry's World, the new place in Houston. I've been to New Orleans, the Superdome down there, and I'm never going to go to the new one in L.A. I guess I could for a Rams game, but I'll never go to a Charger game there. So it'd be fun to and Southwest flights are so cheap. Man, I'd go to as many Raider games as I could, even if the tickets are expensive. Just the being out there would be a lot of fun. Yeah. But I'll only do that if Phillips on the team.
Only if Phillips on the team.
Do you guys think that would be the team that San Diego adopts if
he was on it? I think at least while he's there.
Yeah.
I think wherever he goes, people are going to adopt it. If it was Tennessee, I'd be pulling for them real hard.
That would
Otherwise,
be so
I'm
crazy if this town became a Raider country.
Man, it would be a good play by them. If I was Mark Davis, I'd be all about that. Thinking about the possibilities there.
Absolutely.
Play an exhibition game here.
Well, I mean, now they're not going to because they got that palace out in Vegas. You got to fill that up at least 10 times. But I thought they should have done it these last couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I think Rivers would fit good with Gruden. Just a matter of what they would do with Derek Carr and his contract.
Yeah.
He signed a big extension a couple years ago for 5 years, $125 million. So I think Rivers would be an upgrade, but
I also feel like a lot of teams would be Derek Carr would be an upgrade for them, and they feel like they could get him kind of on the cheap because of how he and Gruden have fallen out of favor with each other. I could see them being able to move Derek Carr, and he's young enough. I don't know. Woo, baby, the possibilities.
Good stuff, guys. Well, that just about wraps it up, unless you guys have any other great insight for the week of sports coming up, or the weekend, I should say.
Getting excited about Torrey Pines next weekend.
Oh, baby.
We'll make sure we get a little golf talk in there.
Yeah.
Thomas's favorite obscure golfers will be in action.
See if Lucas Glover has made the field.
Hey, he's 14th place at.
What was the other one?
Mark Leishman.
Mark Leishman, yes. Mark Leishman and Lucas Glover. I love it.
So you did have Tiger commit to playing a couple days ago, so I'm sure the ticket sales went up once that happened. Phil will be in it this year. He missed it last year, I think, for the first time in his career. So
you gonna be up there?
I will be. I'll be kind of working in the area a little bit. And
you played the other day, right?
I did.
Under some condition. What was that like?
I did. I played the South course, which is of course the one they play on the weekends, and then one of the Thursday, Friday rounds. The rough is killer.
You lose any balls into the rough?
I think I lost one in the rough. I actually bought
crazy.
I bought 9 or 10 balls before the round because I thought I was going to lose multiple, but I think I only lost 2 balls overall.
I've played with you. I figured you would have lost multiple. No, just kidding.
I shot. So you can't actually play the tees from where the pros play because they have them blocked off, but I played some of the blue tees or whatever. So I shot in the 90s. I barely broke 100, but
it's still pretty darn good under PGA conditions, man. Yeah.
So it's cool to kind of experience that. I've never done it, either right before or right after the tournament. So It's cool to feel like a pro for a moment.
That's
At
awesome.
least the atmosphere, not necessarily with the play.
And the grandstands were up.
Yeah, the grandstands were up.
That's
Just
so
imagine,
cool, man.
Making a birdie putt on 18 to win the Farmers and win $1.3 million.
Are you guys gonna go catch a round?
I'll probably go for at least one of the days. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have tickets yet, but I'll scam my way into it somehow.
I've gone almost every year, at least for a day, because it's just
you got to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no better setting in golf, man.
I'm sure it'll be 70 to 75 degrees.
Just perfect
throughout the week. All right, my friends. Good work today. We'll do it again soon. We're done with episode 21. We'll catch you next time.
Take care.
Peace.